With the changes that have come to the Chicago Bulls roster this offseason, many people are asking how much will the style of play really change for the Chicago Bulls, especially considering we still have Zach LaVine and Nikola Vucevic on the roster. We're going to talk a little bit about that today, plus the recent updates to both Lonzo Ball and Zach LaVine before we dive into the mailbag. All that and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into this content, y'all. So, how much will the Bulls change their style of play next year? How much of with the new young players that we have on this roster, how much are things really going to change? And be clear here, I'm talking about the style of play, not necessarily that it means it's going to translate to more wins, right? Because you could change your style of play, but not win more games. The Bulls in the last 2 years have ranked 18th and 28th in pace over the last two seasons. We've also ranked 22nd in points per game over those same two seasons. But if you go to words even said by Billy Donovan before on playing faster, he says this: we would always invite advancing the ball up the floor, kicking it up and kicking it ahead. Not to say that Kobe can't or Zach LaVine can't or DeMar DeRozan can't, but where Lonzo was elite is that there are point guards on missed shots that when the rebound happens, they understand how the floor is balanced. It's like the ball is coming to him, and you know what? There's three guys on this side of the floor, and there's only two defenders. He knows right away where that thing is going to be launched on the dribble, and it's gone. It's something that he's great at. Now, I did not use that quote because of the recent news, and we'll talk about that, of Lonzo Ball being cleared for 5-on-5 in August. But it's because of Josh Giddey. If Josh Giddey truly has the keys to the Chicago Bulls offense, there are a few things that Josh Giddey is really damn near elite at. That's rebounding as a guard, and that is his playmaking, how he creates and generates open shots for teammates. And those two things, when you look at that, that could theoretically get the Bulls back to a place where they're playing a much faster pace. And if you look at Billy Donovan's teams before coming to the Chicago Bulls, those were teams that did play with the faster pace, specifically the last like 2-3 years of him being in OKC. So I know I said it yesterday, one of my biggest red flags for this team and my biggest concerns for this team is Billy Donovan and his coaching. Will he actually change the style now that he does not have a player like DeMar DeRozan to really be that safety net for him and for the team, right? And so this roster, you can't deny that this roster has gone into place where playing faster would suit a lot of this roster, right? You look at Josh Giddey, who I just talked about, his ability as a playmaker to be in the 90th percentile of generating open shots for his teammates. He's just a smart player. He understands how to dictate that pace, how to understand and read what the defense is trying to do. He's having a big game over there in Australia again, which you got to love to see Josh Giddey even hitting some threes over there. 3-point line's a little bit shorter, though. But Josh Giddey, if he truly has the keys to this offense and plays well, it's going to naturally lead to this team playing faster because he rebounds the ball. We have two really good rebounding guards in Kobe White and Josh Giddey. And I think with his ability and what I've said before about Josh Giddey, it's not just about the assist number. It's also, if you look at Josh Giddey, how he understands how to manipulate the defense to create an open look so that his players, if they're moving without the ball, diving, cutting, that he can get the ball to them. He manipulates that defense really well and reads it. That's that high IQ basketball stuff that Josh Giddey does that can benefit this team tremendously. He also added Modest Buzelis, who his whole style is liking to play fast, get out in transition, dunk on guys, right? He's going to be looking to knock heads off, right? And, of course, it remains to be seen how much is Buzelis going to be in that rotation. Something that I know a lot of people are going to say, well, Billy Donovan doesn't play rookies, and that's really not true. Billy Donovan's lack of playing rookies on this Bulls team is really overstated. Patrick Williams played right away. Ayo Dosunmu played right away. Julian Phillips played in his rookie season and was on the path and trending upwards of getting more minutes. He just got hurt. The only players that really, as rookies, did not play under Billy Donovan were Dalen Terry, who we knew was an extremely raw prospect, and the most of his first year was going to be spent in the G League. We knew that when he was drafted. And Marko Simonovic, who is now out of the league, not playing well at all. Like he's out. He didn't play. He didn't play well. He wasn't good. He wasn't good at the NBA level. So because of those two things, I don't really hold that thing of Billy Donovan's just adverse to playing rookies. I think as long as Buzelis he's going to be given a shorter leash initially, and then if he plays well, he's going to go. But he's another player that fits into that faster play style. And Kobe and Ayo already like to get out in the court, attack, get out in transition. Ayo Dosunmu was probably our best player in transition last year. So you look at those things as being really good pillars. You got 2 guards and a forward, well, 3 guards with Josh Giddey being counted, and a forward in there that all appreciate playing faster. You look at Patrick Williams with more opportunities that's coming his way as well. And in that December, which I always go back to December because that's really the best sample of basketball over an extended time we have of Patrick Williams offensively, at least, right? That whole month of December, Patrick Williams was cooking and he was on fire, and we were playing with a much better and faster pace. So those things all play a part into it. And then you look at the young players as well that could thrive in a system that allows you to play faster, and Dalen Terry and Julian Phillips, even Jalen Smith. These are all guys that can thrive and can play the best in it. With you look at the limited offensive game right now of Dalen Terry, a team that likes to attack, get to the basket, things like that, his mid-range shot, build up that, he can do it. Julian Phillips with his athleticism and things like that could thrive in that area as well. And then Zach LaVine, he can too as well. Now, Vooch can play in a faster pace system, but he's going to be the trailer when you do get into half-court sets, because we're not running run and gun. Run and gun and faster pace are different. I think a lot of times when you talk about fast pace, people automatically think you're running and gunning. That's not what the Bulls are looking to do. That's not what they're trying to do. They're going to be playing with a faster pace. But when you do get in half-court situations, which is going to be after other teams score, Vooch can be effective in the half court. And I really am kind of excited to see him with this younger squad, to see how he plays and fits in. I'm not saying he's going to be perfect, but this team does have those pillars and that could support that faster paced play style. The question is how well are they going to doing it? A defense, how well is the defense going to play as well, right? To help kind of maximize on that. They're going to play a funner style. The question is that, yeah, it'll be fun to watch, but will it lead to wins? And that's the thing that we got to wait and see how it's going to turn out during the season for the Chicago Bulls. But overall, I really like a lot of that, and I do think that we are going to see quite a bit of change of pace under this team. And that really goes to, again, Josh Giddey having the keys to the offense. And I think if that is what happens here, and even with Lonzo, if Lonzo is healthier, right, and can play some, I still think if Lonzo is cleared, which he's not cleared for NBA basketball, but we'll talk about that here in a second. But if he is and ready to go, that is going to help kind of facilitate that even more. And then, Ayo is going to do that as well. So those are things definitely to look at. But let me know what you guys think down below. When you see now how the makeup of this team has changed, do you think this is going to be a team that plays a faster pace? Do you look at it and say, well, as long as Vooch is still here, we still got guys. Torrey Craig has been solid in a faster pace too, but do you have those concerns that it may limit the Bulls and really changing their pace and style of play? Let me know what you guys think on that. And the three-point shooting. You notice I didn't touch on that. Three-point shooting is a big concern for me. Some people are less concerned about it, and I understand it, but you guys can let me know what you think down below. But I want to go over 2 things that recently came out. Now, we did have an emergency episode on this. Me and C-Dub broke things down. But Lonzo Ball recently said on his podcast that he's going to be cleared for 5-on-5 in August. Now, I want to be clear. Lonzo Ball was cleared for 5-on-5 before, and then he started having setbacks. This 5-on-5 means that in a simulated type environment where they're going to be monitoring him, kind of putting him through specific workouts and 5-on-5 type things, it's training. It's not 5-on-5, meaning NBA basketball 5-on-5 or even training camp basketball 5-on-5. But they're going to see and monitor how his body responds. As long as he doesn't have any setbacks, this could be the last hurdle to get Lonzo Ball back on the actual basketball court. And this is a good thing to hear. And he seems really in high spirits. He feels pretty confident that he's going to be ready to go day 1, game 1 for the Chicago Bulls. And so that leads it to being like, okay, what is the impact that Lonzo can then make on this team realistically? And I think you got to look at it and say, he's still probably not going to play back-to-backs. He's probably still going to be on a minutes restriction, at least to start the season. But having Lonzo Ball back and cleared, it definitely means that like Javon Carter isn't going to play at all. And you have somebody with a high basketball IQ, even while he's trying to learn how his body's going to react to certain things. Getting Lonzo Ball back healthy could pay off in a couple of ways for the Bulls. I do think that the Bulls, if with them having Josh Giddey at point guard, could look to trade Lonzo Ball if he proves healthy between the start of the season and the trade deadline. I think that. I know a lot of Bulls fans say, oh my God, no, we can't trade Lonzo. And I understand that, but the Bulls team has gone in a different way. And I know that some people think that playing Lonzo and Josh Giddey together at times, some minutes could be more fruitful than what I think it's going to be. I just don't think that that's going to, I think that's putting them back in the same situation as with Shea, in my personal opinion. But it's up to Billy Donovan to find those rotations and balance that as much as he can. But it makes the Bulls even more guard heavy than what they were before. But listen, Lonzo Ball getting back on the basketball court, man. I hope that everything goes well for him. I'm glad to hear that he's made that he's making that step. And then we'll be definitely paying attention. August is just a few days away. So we got Bears football coming back, and we'll get to start talking about Lonzo Ball and seeing how his recovery is going. And then as far as yesterday as well, it came out that the Bulls are resigned to keep Zach LaVine, that basically they've realized the market isn't there. Zach LaVine's going to be on the roster to start the season. And I think that's just good just so you can play him, right? So now Billy Donovan knows who he's going to have. It's no question left. Everybody can, when training camp opens, there's no question. And we'll just see where the season takes it with Zach LaVine. If he comes in and plays well, maybe he ends up fitting in. Maybe the things change here and he, wants to stay here. The Bulls see a better fit here with him or whatever. Or if he plays well, that it can facilitate him being moved easier. We'll end up seeing Zach LaVine is not nearly the cancer that some people try to make him out to be for this team. I hate it that, like I said before, people start letting narrative because of a different thing start bleeding into other things. Zach LaVine's teammates love him. And while the last stint of him being on the court where it seemed like he was trying to prove a point, seeing that sucked. I want to there's no mistake to be made about that. Like, it just wasn't good to see Zach LaVine that almost looked like he was almost defeated, right? But hopefully Zach LaVine comes back. We get to see that excited Zach LaVine and reinvigorated. And hopefully he's here to make a point, but to also play within the construct of what the team is trying to do and not really break that. So overall, those are the two updates that we wanted to get into. But it is Saturday. That means it's Mailbag Day. This episode's built mainly around your voicemails. This first one's from Brian Washington.
Hey, what's up, Haize? I can't never catch you live, but I always tune in, man. It's like you do a good job, man, as far as getting the Bulls information out. 'Cause you do it year round, so I don't miss anything, So I'll always catch it on your channel. But I don't think the Bulls. I think the Bulls gonna be better than we all think they're gonna be. I think they're going to be pretty good. I think this was maybe Zach LaVine, like I said in the last message, that maybe this will turn around from them getting younger players and not these washed up older players that's out of their prime down there. That's all the Bulls been getting lately as far as superstars. But I think they'll be a pretty good team, man, because look at Orlando. They made the playoffs. That wasn't expected. And that's how I see the Bulls, because we still got Zach and Boots. They're not bad players. We act like they just no good at all. They're not bad players. And you still have them on this team with these younger players. I hope all of it work. We all do. But I believe it's going to work. I believe it's going to work. They're going to be decent. I believe they can at least make the play-in. I don't think they're just not going to make the playoff. They're still a good team, because there's a lot of good teams with superstars on it that didn't make the playoff. They didn't even make the play in. You know what I'm saying? So they got a chance. I ain't gonna write them off just because they changed and they got younger players. Shit, you never know. It could be a miracle season. We don't know until it happens. You know what I'm saying? I hope it's a miracle season. We all do. But yeah, man, I think they're gonna be better than what we thought. And as long as I know as we moving forward, it don't matter if they lose or not. To me, I want them to win, but as long as we moving forward for the future, I'm good with it. Let's roll with it. Let's roll. You know what I'm saying? Let's roll. Let's give these young guys a chance. Let's roll.
All right, I think Orlando's been building talent for years and adding talent for years. And when you look into when they went into last season, I don't know if they were necessarily expected to contend for a playoff spot, but people started seeing that growth that Orlando was having, and it just came to their young players developing. So here's the thing. Like you said, a miracle season. If it takes for a miracle season for the Bulls to make the play-in, that's just not good, right? You don't want a miracle season to be the reason why you make the play-in. So we'll see what happens with that. I do think it is about moving forward, mainly with this team and to see what you have in it. I don't think this team is outwardly trying to tank. I think that they are going to see what this team brings, and I truly think that I almost said Matt Eberflus said Arturas Karnisovas is hoping that these young players all make a step up and that this thing can get flying get going quicker, right? That Josh Giddey fits in with Kobe White and Patrick makes a step, and Modest Bucilis looks like a player that they can start building with. I hope those things that he does think and truly believes all those things can happen. But if it doesn't, then the Bulls keep their top 10 pick. So we'll see how well this Bulls team can compete. I definitely think the play style for the first segment is going to change. We're going to play a more exciting and more modern brand of basketball. But I worry about that defense. I worry about the 3-point shooting. And I worry about, like, they're still, like, yeah, we want to see and we hope. And we got signs that Kobe White's going to take another step, that Io takes another step, that Modest Bucilis is going to be solid. Hopefully we see more of December Patrick Williams as well. And we'll just see what this team brings, man. Overall, I'm excited to see how this all comes together and how these pieces perform together, because I think that's going to be fun basketball to watch. And we'll see as we move forward exactly where this team sits in a Eastern Conference that I think is going to be a lot tougher than a lot of people are giving it credit for, in my personal opinion. And we'll see what comes of that. All right, let's get into the next one. This one's from Country.
Hey, Haize, what up, man? It's Freeway calling from the 2258. I just got one question. Do you think by the Bulls having new assistant coaches, do you think they will have a different play than the way Billy Donovan run plays or the way he tries to balance the offense and defense? That's what I have for you, man. See Red, love your content. Keep it up, big brother. Peace.
The new assistant coaches, Wes Unseld Jr. and Dan Craig. Listen, these are two guys who I've said before, I don't know how much it changes the play style or things like that, but I do think that these are two guys that were kind of the first heralds of the Bulls going younger. They've both been heads of player development. They've both been in charge of developing, like Wes Unseld Jr. with Jokic, Jamal Murray, right? He's been credited Michael Porter Jr. of helping a lot of these guys develop into the NBA level. And Dan Craig, the same thing. Bam Adebayo, right? Players that have come through that Heat program. You've also got two assistant coaches that just thrive at being assistant coaches. So I don't know how much it's going to change, like the plays that are going to be called, how much Billy Donovan defers to those or let those guys' voices really ring loud. I hope that he does, as far as give them a big say. But you know, they will help with the player development department of it all, I think. And having those two signings really feel like 8K signings more so than Billy Donovan signings, at least to me. So I do think that the coaches are definitely going to help. The style of play, we'll see. They both come from two franchises as well that has an identity, right? I know Wes Unseld Jr. went to the Wizards and didn't really bring a lot of that, but as somebody who has been assistant and thrived in that role, he's seen players work, and he's seen how those players put in work that eventually got them to the level of winning a title. And same thing with Dan Craig. And so let's hope that ends up being the case here. All right, let's get into the next voicemail. This one's from Reginald.
Hey, this is Reginald from Columbus, Georgia. I'm here to leave a comment about the odd man out topic you and Pat were discussing. And when I look at Billy Donovan's style of coaching or his system, I think, like you and Pat said, start of five is pretty much that. You got Jalen Smith and off the bench, Torrey Craig, and after that it gets a bit tricky because I do think they're going to give Lonzo to start off 8 to 12 minutes a game. He's not going to play back to back like you said, but that also takes away minutes from other people. Hopefully Javon Carter never touches the floor again. I don't care if it's a 20-point blowout, either or against the Bulls. But that does leave guys like where does Dalen Terry, Julian Phillips, Monson, and all the other guys, where does that leave them at? And I think Sanogo, Phillips, the team are going to the G League, which leaves Monson and Dalen Terry. And I think for the first 6 weeks, Monson is probably going to be in the G League as well. Not because he can't play in the league, it's just that Dalen Terry knows the system better. And then Dalen has improved the way we hope he improves. Having a mid-range shot, being able to play more within himself and not get out of control. He'll probably get minutes after 2 and 3 as well. So that just leaves guys like Montes, obviously just twisting in the wind or just waiting on the bench. And what he really needs is time to get his shot right, time to put on muscle, time to learn the system. And I think you can do that in the G League for at least the first 6 weeks. And after that, he'll probably get called up because I think he can perform at a higher level than what the G League can offer, better competition. But, I can say the same thing about Sanogo and Phillips. All three of them needs to do is get his shot right, and he'll be able to play in a role player position. And after Sanogo, honestly, the way he dominated last year, G League can't offer him much either. But what's your opinion? Thanks.
Listen, Yeah, with Zoe being here, Javon Carter shouldn't see the floor at all. Now, I do disagree that Phillips and Batum will automatically go to the G League. I think when you look at Phillips, he was cracking that rotation towards the end of last year, before he got hurt. So I think that Billy Donovan, and you look at it, we need size, we need some shooting. Julian Phillips can bring that. He's one of the few players as well off the bench that can bring energy and shot blocking. So we'll see. And Batum, I think it comes down to how much that three-point shooting is legit. Because he injured that eye, came out like, I think it was like his second or third game with us. And so his shooting, the way that it slumped off after like that first game where he looked solid, that may have been because of that eye injury he was dealing with. He's just a tough son of a bitch. And so, I think that how much the Bulls do need shooting, but Tim could very well make the roster. I just don't necessarily say that those guys are automatically going to the G League. Like Sanogo, yeah, he's a two-way contract player. He's definitely going to be in the G League, more so than we see him at the NBA level. But I do also agree with you, though, that Dalen Terry should have the edge on some minutes. You're going into your third season. You've been in this system. The system's going to change a little bit. But if you look at players who can thrive in a faster-paced system, that's Dalen Terry. And so let's hope that Dalen Terry really does take a step so that we can really start seeing more from Dalen Terry. I do think that having that expectation from more from him, I'm not saying he should turn into a starter-level player or anything like that, but be a player that can contribute. Be a player that can get out in transition. Be a player that can defend well. Get some of those deflections that we're going to be missing with Javonte Green and Alex Caruso going. Dalen Terry theoretically can bring some of that. So let's see if he does this season. Let's get into the last voicemail for today. This one's from Vaughn.
Yo, Chicago Bulls Central. What's that word? It's your boy Big Von from the low end. Time to check in with y'all boys. And man, I tell you, the Chicago Bulls future is looking extremely bright. I believe we finally have that young core and that young nucleus truly ingrained and truly set and truly on the roster. I don't even want to get into the Zach LaVine drama because if you ask me, that's just water under the bridge. I feel like when the new season comes, dude gonna either put up or shut up. I mean, we paid him this money. That's not the issue. I think it's more so the relationship and things that he feel like wasn't handled the way it should be handled, especially like with him. Like, let's be honest, he was one of those first max guys that started getting the big 200M deals. So, respectfully, he just feel like he should be treated a certain way, and I'm not mad at that. The problem I do have with Zach LaVine is that when it's gut check time, it's gut check time. If you one of the ones, you got to put up, shut up, and go out there and do what you need to do. But this is not about him, okay? This is about the Chicago Bulls' future. Josh Giddey, hell of a player, hell of a facilitator, hell of an athlete, hell of a basketball player, man. He's over there cooking with the Australia team, and his future is very, very bright. I believe we brought him in to be a facilitator, not only a facilitator, but he's going to get some buckets too. He's going to make guys better around him, and overall, he's going to help our offense flow. He's one of those guys that I believe that Billy Donovan could really work with. Billy Donovan is more like a pace type coach. He likes to get out and run when he has that personnel, but when he don't, he plays that pace game. I do believe now he has that team where he can get out and go, and the sky's the limit for them, man. Now, as far as my boy Montes Buzelis, oh my God, Acme, AK, and Everett. Finally, y'all did y'all due diligence and y'all got us one. Cause boy, he's one of them ones. He put the summer league on notice. Just through the city, I got a couple ties in that circuit, and his name is buzzing. And he had a lot of those guys spook to play against him. He had a lot of guys say they rolled their ankle. He had a lot of guys saying they were sick. So I'm looking forward to him cooking this season. This not a Patrick Williams situation. We got a real dog. A dog who don't like to lose, and a dog that's just competitive. You know what I'm saying? I'm eager to see what the roster gonna look like, especially Patrick Williams' role now that he's got paid. So, hey, y'all let me know what y'all think, man. It's your boy Big Von from the low end.
Billy Donovan wanting to push the pace. Like I said in the first segment, he has been a coach that has done that before. We just got to see it. We do have the roster to now push and play at a faster pace, play controlled. Again, not running gun, but a faster pace. Very different things. And let's hope that we see that from the Chicago Bulls this season. And then as far as Montes Buzelis, Montes Buzelis brings everything that from the mindset and mentality part of it. He has a really good skill set. I'm glad that you said you heard from some people that he's turning a lot of heads. Like Montes Buzelis has all the potential in the world to be really, really good in this league. And I'm glad that he dropped to the Chicago Bulls. I'll just say that the Bulls, I want to see them put his development, not necessarily at the forefront to knock down other players just to develop him, but to make sure that they put him in the best situations. And having a point guard like Josh Giddey there is definitely should help him as well. So let's hope that that's the case. I have really high expectations and hope for Miles Busilis because of everything that's around him, the mindset that he has. And let's hope that that pays off for the Chicago Bulls next season. But overall, I agree with a lot of what you said. Billy Donovan, now if you really want to push the pace, Billy, you got the team to do so now. Go out and show us that you can do it. And if that happens, shout out to him. I still don't know if Billy Donovan's going to be here past the next 2 years on his contract, but let's start laying the groundwork for these players to play a more modern style, and then let's see what we got. But that's my time for today, guys. Make sure you guys are following the show at Bull Central Pod. You send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullcentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and or voicemail like you heard on today's episode for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. That's thanks to you guys. We are also 270 subscribers, 280 subscribers away from hitting the 20K mark. Hit that subscribe button. Let's get to 20K, man. I love you guys. Go Bulls. See red, y'all. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.